Greetings from UCMC. Now we have community spokespersons, and we speak about opportunities provided by decentralization and previous results of reform. Today we see the picture that 920 amalgamated communities were created. They were provided with responsibilities in the spheres of education, healthcare, communal services, and other sectors. Financial decentralization allowed the budgets to increase, and the budgets grew from 2014 to 2019, and the proper conditions should be created, and we have a lot of work ahead of us, and each community should choose their way based on their opportunities, and also there should be proper experience and responsibility for taking decisions. The community was created in 2016. This is Sergyiv consolidated community. And the community guarantees to everyone housing and jobs. Our today's guest is Igor Lidovy. We welcome you here. Thank you for being with us today. Please give us brief information on your community. Thank you. Thank you for invitation. Sergyievsky community was created in summer 2016. Recently, we celebrated 3 years, our anniversary. We summed up some conclusions. The community was created from 3 village councils, and the population is about 3,000 people. This community is not big. We have 13 settlements. And we have 170 square kilometers. This is like Federation of Hutir, because the settlements are small. And why Federation? Because I believe that we have big responsibilities within elders' offices, and we agreed how to allocate budget funds and transfers for infrastructure, how it will be divided. Now we implement this agreement. And each word of the community, of elders, of public, are taken into account when we hold sessions and important decisions are taken. That's why the community is created. It is working. Whether it is successful, maybe this should be seen from outside. I believe that we have a lot ahead of us. We have good results, but we can do much more. We have big plans, and we have big will to work for the benefit of our community. You've said that responsibilities of elders grew. Please tell us about the responsibilities that were provided to the community that they didn't have before unification, and what is the difference in responsibilities between the elders' offices and the former councils? We got big responsibilities. We visited Canada recently, and we traveled to other countries, and we got some international experience. And here we have the broadest responsibilities if we compare it with municipalities of Europe and Canada. So financial decentralization was provided, and we got proceeds several times more to the budget. Before, we didn't have even paper for our community, and only money for salaries and some other needs. We didn't even dream. For us, 100,000 projects were incredible for us, and now we have millions of hryvnias for roads and other projects. So this is really big change. First, we had euphoria in the sector of finances, and now we see that we have much more resources, and we have oil and gas in our region, and we see that we can increase financial resources concerning the use of land, because land in many cases is not properly calculated, is not on the inventory. We have a lot of wood, we have a lot of lakes, and we should manage them properly. We should develop our territory and use our opportunities. And when the horizons are open and we see that, yes, the law is not ideal, but now we see that sooner or later it will be improved and we will be able to use it. Of course, time is needed for it. It's not 1 year or two, but we see and we look to the future with optimism. So what is the difference between elder's office and former councils? It differs from the center. Sergyiivka is 1,000 population. Others settlements, Razbyshivka is bigger. And we said that we shouldn't have this administrative center because all the settlements, big and small, should develop. And we do not say that only Sergyiivka should have some privileges. So what we did, we put it in the agreement about finances, how we will allocate financial resources. And we provided for schools, for culture, for salaries. And then we have a proportional division. For example, 30% from Kachany to the budget, for the general budget. Then the rest of the budget that remained from other lines we divide proportionally. For example, infrastructure transfers are equally divided, and now we have planning for the budget, and we get even more money when we planned, so we divide it equally. So we have different things. For example, elders, they have the right of veto during the session. So we should agree properly concerning land. Also, this issue is in the hands of the elders and the representatives of these settlements. So if the issue concerns about some settlement and the deputies say they vote for this, all other deputies vote as it was said by the deputies from the settlement. So so this is unwritten rule for us. So this is the system that we got during these 3 years, and we take into account the opinion of everyone. And the executive committee, it has proper representation from all the councils, and everyone is represented there. Also, we have traditional relations. Yes, this is not easy. Sometimes we have a lot of arguments, but we always find consensus and are trying to take into account all the interests. At the end of the year, we analyze how we allocated funds, and we see that it coincides with the agreement that we have. And do they manage to timely use these funds? Yes, we use these funds, of course, because you should understand that this is the issue of management. If some knowledge is lacking concerning some area of implementation, we always can find people and pay them through agreement. That's why, but we do not do this. We manage it ourselves. We have young people, they really are quick in learning, and they also get education through different programs, and also there are experienced people who remained in management, so we have good balance. Many workers of the councils, they are without jobs because people said that everyone will go without work. Do you have an employment? No, we have a lot of workers. We even invited additional workers because obligations, responsibilities were transferred, and in order to implement in culture, in healthcare, in communal sector, we needed new people. 2 communal enterprises were created, and this is about economic activity. This is after unification. We had 1, and the second, I will tell you later about it. What I'm saying, the Center of Culture was created as a communal property, also social service. They needed accountants, heads of institutions, social workers. So they all needed workers. So this is one of the mechanisms to invest into our own economy, because sometimes there are some areas where entrepreneurs are not able or are not interested in development of some sectors, but communities need this. Or, for example, the management of natural resources. For us, it is better to provide for community, to create communal enterprises in the sector. So I had a lot of good things about your community. Roads are repaired and social institutions are repaired. So we will speak about it. And so these are the pictures from Canada on the screen, actually. Before I saw the roads in your community, I remember one of the interviews during the meeting with the journalists who came to you. You said the community is able to provide jobs and housing for everyone who will work in its territory. Do you have such opportunities in your community? The key is working. We need families, people who are ready to work. We're interested in entrepreneurs who came and provided not only for their own families, but created new working places. These are people, they are really valuable as gold. And these entrepreneurs, or people who want to be entrepreneurs, or they have entrepreneurial spirit. In one community, they said that in each house there should be entrepreneurs. So we try to create opportunities for these people who want to get rich, to be able to do this. So we create such opportunities. We provide houses. They are really cheap. And some small settlements, they are for free or half price. Or we may do it on some conditions of delayed payments. In Sergyievka, we have several houses. Now they are on sale, and these are for 40,000 hryvnias. So this is not big money. This is not difficult for the budget to allocate such money. About jobs, I mean, especially work for men. And there is need for managers of tractors, of some equipment, agricultural equipment. Also, we need construction workers and oil and gas specialists, guards, and near and other settlements. Other workers are needed. For women, this is sewing enterprise. 2 facilities we have for this, and I would like to say that we create proper conditions in order to earn at home. This is, for example, to create a cooperative, and through this cooperative we would like to support individual farming concerning growing of vegetables, growing of berries, and also we have 2 points where our workers can then they can sell milk there. To have, for example, 20 cows and to develop this enterprise, equipment for milking cows, to buy cows, of good quality, and also, of course, the enterprise to create cheese, to produce cheese, and we bought some equipment for it. So this is one direction. The next is facility for drying, and the premise was allocated, and we would like to get from population, from cooperative, some produce, and onions, garlic, potato, and other vegetables, so we can dry it as borscht kits. And I know that people need it. There is demand for such products. Also some herbs, some spices. And the third stage is freezing of produce. And we have 7 hectares for gardening, 15 for berries, for growing raspberries. And if people want to work, we will find housing, land, and funds in order to start. And we also provide compensation for some agricultural work. So we want to develop. So soybeans, corns won't provide much more concerning employment now. So we're interested in details about creation of the fund for support of entrepreneurship. Also, Department of Investment, about investment passport of community, and also loans without rates for entrepreneurs. What if a person wants to be an entrepreneur but that doesn't have proper knowledge for this? Please tell us about it, about economic development. We have a strategy. It was developed. Vadim Stefan helped us to create it. Now we implement the strategy. Economic development is one of the priorities. And this is development of micro, minor, micro, and medium-sized business. It's better to create 10 small enterprises with 10 people than one enterprise with 100 workers. This will provide better economic effect. So this provides its results. Communal enterprise is newly created, and there are 20 working places. And they are self-sufficient now. Second, we bought we now reject gas, and now we use wood, and it costs less, and now we deal with all forest lines. Now we have a law that we can do it, and this is a communal enterprise that deals with it. We take care of them, and the Cabinet of Ministers published the order for discussion, and we adopted as our order during our session, and we hope that they will approve it officially. And we created a commission, and now we care about these forest lines. We do not just cut it. And we create such a way working places. Also, we have a fund for support of entrepreneurship, and we have cooperative, and they provide the effect right at once. And the fund to support the entrepreneurs is the mechanism that we are using for 2 years. We voted during the session to create such a fund for support of entrepreneurship, and it is working in the region, and the region proposed to jointly support it. And it happened so that we have it 50-50. 50% provided by the region and 50% we provide, and now we have about 1 million turnover. And funds are provided for entrepreneurs for free, and they should create working places. They may use this fund for 1 year, then they return it in parts, equal parts. And we voted for this during the session. We look through business plan, whether it will work, and in such a way we are trying to develop the employment sector. So we will provide money for this when we see that there is an entrepreneur who can create working places. We provide these funds because we see that the synergy is created. Who used this opportunity? Aprishka Vladimir Ivanovich created Sergeyevka Bakery. This is the project of last year. It was successful. It broadened to the whole region. They supply their products. First, we thought that this will be for school, for kindergarten, and for local population, but other schools concluded agreements with them. And he supplies to Gadichi and throughout the region. Next, this is a cheese-producing plant. And there was a project, money were allocated, and we bought equipment, and we hope that we will have proper milk for this facility, and new working places will be created in the points of collection of milk, and also and these working places also will be created in this cheese producing facility. About passport, investment passport in your community to attract investment. We focused on foreign investor, and during the first year we were oriented on the foreign investor. We believed that it will be easy. We worked on this document, and then we understood that we should focus on domestic investors and use our own forces. We have 2 solar stations, and we set them in the general plan. And we identified it, and we have pilot enterprises on our plan, and planting of berries, and we had 3 firms who applied, but there was miscoordination with Oblenergo, and we were not able to implement this project. We hope that there will be some changes in legislation, and then we will have investors for these solar plants. Also, there are land plots with water, lighting, and some premises, and they are ready. They are waiting for investors in order to start processing of agricultural produce, or maybe oil and gas, repair of drilling equipment, and we set these activities in our investment plan. What about transfer of lands to the communal property of the community? Will it help you in your development? Of course. We had an auction several months ago. We had 3 land plots, more than 100 hectares, and we earned 700,000 at once. And the price exceeded 48%, and 8 participants we had, and it was broadcast. Everything was done transparently. All conditions were set during the session, and people discussed how it will be done, and it produced a big economic effect. And we see that the preparation of other land plots will be done soon. We will put them on auction. Now, about this, we have about market prices, and maybe even lower than the market price. But when the market is open, the price will go up. But this transfer provided us with opportunity to see what we have. Unfortunately, it was done only for agricultural lands, but there are also production land. Also, there is law on communal property. Now it is not working, but we will try to find the ways. We have forests. We have 300 hectares of land, and it is not set in the documents and how to use them. Also, water resources and ponds, small recreational ponds, also land issues. We see that these are huge resources that we can use for the benefit of community. Also, there should be proper inventory of land. I always say that in Kiev and near Poltava, land costs a lot, even meters of land, but we have hectares of land that is not properly managed, not properly documented. But we can document them properly, and we can get additional funds from this. So these lands were transferred half a year ago, and now we see that we are really rich. So you are focused on agricultural activity, but also in your territory there are many oil and gas enterprises, and I come to conclusion that from one side this is good because 5% of rent goes to your community, but the ecology gets worse, and maybe that's why you do not have many people in your community. But actually, whether it is a problem for your community, maybe you are trying to find some ways out of the situation. Yes, we have ecological issues. For example, water. There are wells from which it is dangerous to drink water, and this water was checked, and specialists said that it should not be used for anything. So in some center, so we build water lines, and we are trying to solve this problem. We have gas processing plant. Big trucks ruin our roads, and huge money should be invested into the roads. So this rent about 5 million, we get it. This is the cost, depending on how to build it. But we have 120 kilometers of roads, and Ukrnafta works in our area, and it would be great if they would pay income tax that is paid to Kiev, in Kiev and in Poltava. Our people work there, 1,100 people work in different enterprises in our territory. What should be done in legislation in order that these taxes were transferred to your community? Now there is a discussion how to introduce changes to legislation. One of the proposals, for example, where people live, they should pay taxes. Or, as it is said in the law, and we proved it, and Ukrnafta does not agree, but tax office agreed with us that people should pay where they are working. If they are in Gadetsky tax office, if they are registered there, and they pay for land and for property, then they should pay also income tax, because people work on this land, and it would be fair if this tax would be paid to us. No law is needed for this, just we should implement the law we have now. These are huge money. And I repeat, we have ecological problems because of the use of roads, and of course Nafta pays 5 million to us, but compared with 20 million that we would get if income tax would be paid, it would be much better for us. So level of waste management also influences the environment. I saw this waste containers. So, what is your activity in the area? Did you succeed in this? There is a problem of waste facilities. We have agreement with the councils, with the region, to create a joint landfill. As I know, the agreement was signed to create joint sanitary scheme and other measures, but we are not waiting. We created our own communal enterprise, and it deals with these issues. They conclude agreements. They go to people, they collect wastes, and they're trying to stimulate separate collection of wastes. Also, we are planning to buy a press to press wastes, and I hope that we will resolve these issues in the nearest future. We have a separate facility, and we have communal enterprise who collect sorted collection for glass and paper and plastic. Also, we have waste bins at schools and other in the settlements. We will place these containers for separate collection. We plan to introduce some fines, maybe but not all signed the agreements. Only 20% of agreements were signed. It costs 4 hryvnias per person a month. And why do people reject this idea? Sometimes they say, we will brought it to the landfill, we have land for this that was allocated, and others say that they will collect glass and plastic themselves, and they believe that we earn on this, and we collect from everyone, whether they signed the agreement or not. And so maybe you should have some incentives for them. I believe it should go 2 ways. There should be carrots and sticks. Maybe there should be tax. In Canada, it is done through tax. Everyone pays taxes for collection and utilization of waste, and the system works without interruption. If someone threw some garbage, this person is fined, and this scheme works in the world. And why did you decide to provide help to those families who have newly born children? You know that we have a huge problem throughout Ukraine, and even in the developed European countries, there is demographic crisis in the villages, and the number of people who were born and the number of people who died. You know about the problem that some villages may just disappear. And what can we do in order to live comfortably in all the territories, how we saw it in Finland, in Germany, in Canada? Of course, economic development should be provided. There should be proper protection of people. And we see that people are provided now with 10,000 in our community. This is not only about money, this is about care of the community. We want that young people remain in our territories, not just to give birth, but also to provide them with the housing, jobs, education, healthcare. And there is a complex of measures, and we should show people that here people can successfully live, give birth, work, and everything else. This is not only about economy. So 3 years passed, and we had 2 years of implementation of this program and a strategy that envisages all this. So we have correlation 1 to 6 and between death and birth, between birth and death, and now we have 1 to 3. So the situation improved, and we want this trend to remain. Let's speak about the services, what was done. We are speaking about educational, healthcare, and administrative services. Do you have some improvements in these sectors? Before we had meetings and the people identified the main problem, healthcare. There are no roads, settlements are small, and people didn't see doctor for tens of years, and people said that this is the main problem. And we also introduced the program of stimulus, and we found a doctor. We found a doctor, and we spend now for healthcare more than state provides, 2 times more than state provides. We do not save on medicine because this is our life, this is our health. And we increased the salary of nurses, and we increased their salaries. And we support 1/3 of nurses. We created some healthcare centers, and we try to provide equipment for them. In Poltava Oblast, there is such a program. We bought cardiograph, and they contact the center in Poltava, and the doctor may decipher information and to provide consultations to doctors. And also our medical facilities they have computers, internet connection, and the quality of these services now depends on first from the personnel, and we provide for them. Also, we have 3 schools. If we are speaking about education, they are built in 80s and 90s. We replaced windows, doors, and we provide repair works inside. And also, we bought multimedia boards for primary school. And each year, we buy for our students multimedia equipment, and also educational services and cultural services. Now we implement joint projects together with the international organization USAID. We will provide services, and we have dancing hall, we have affiliate of music school, and we have art studio, and we will have a museum, modern library, athletics hall, and other clubs in our settlements, and we invest a lot in repairs and all these services that I spoke about. These are the main that are provided for young people, and in this way we are trying to compete. Our today's meeting is supported by DOBRE program, and I know that this program contributed to the visit to Canada by the heads of some amalgamated communities. What was of interest for you there? What did you see there, and what you plan to introduce in your community? First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this visit. In Canada, we saw that this is a huge effort and finances. A lot of people were involved, donor organizations, USAID, Dobre, you lead DESPRO, associations of local government and associations of cities, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and maybe I forgot about someone promised, other organizations who joined and organized this visit. This visit is really valuable. I attended the meetings at such a level for the first time, and I spoke at the sidelines and during official and unofficial meeting with foreign representatives who are interested in decentralization, and they pay a lot of attention to this, and we were presenting Ukraine, and we shared our opinion. And of course, it was really interesting, and we had a visit to municipalities in Canada and Ontario. Our delegation was divided, and we went to a municipality, and we saw a business incubator. It was newly created, and they will have trainings for entrepreneurs. Experienced entrepreneurs agreed to provide workshops, and some money will be provided at the first stage. And what we got as experience, we understood that we should train people. We should accompany entrepreneurs at the first stage, and they should become fully independent only in 2 or 3 years from the start of the new enterprise. We should do it. And second, I believe, and I was impressed, they do not have problems with selling the products. So they have small agricultural enterprise, hectare or 2. We consider it as subsistence farming, and people do not know where to sell these products to. And local people said that they do not have the problems with the selling. They sell it directly to the stores, and maybe we should do it through cooperatives and together to conclude agreements between cooperatives and retail stores in Poltava and other cities, and to sell these products, and maybe there will be an interest to develop agriculture and processing. And it confirms that we are moving in the right direction in cooperative movement. And also we saw that supported by municipality, they had the projects that they implemented, nothing difficult, but I saw that we can do it. We can do it in the same way. We should find interested people. Maybe we should support them financially and organizationally, and we will succeed. So you can speak about Sergyiv community for hours, but time is lacking. So maybe you would like to say something to your colleagues and the future colleagues to build Ukraine together. Once again, thank you for invitation. Really, this topic is really interesting, and I really live with this for 4 years and 1 year before unification and 3 years after unification. I see that this is the main reform that will provide development in other sectors and to Ukraine on the whole. Because people are living not in regions and oblasts, but in villages and cities. And if there is good life, they will get all the services locally. They won't go to Poland. They will earn here. They will get services here. So we should do it, and we now understand how we can do it. And discussions now are behind us. We should just implement. We should do it. Once again, I would like to remind to you that we were speaking with Igor Lidovy, head of the Sergyiv consolidated community. Thank you. Till the next time. Goodbye.
Я кажу, що я вчитель історії дуже довго балакаю.
Але ви дуже цікаво